to Stylish Naija YouTube channel. So I want to say thank you to all of my subscribers. I really appreciate you guys for subscribing to my channel, for liking my videos, for sharing my video, and then for the support you guys have been giving me. I really appreciate it. I'm not taking it for granted, actually. So if you are new to my channel, you are highly and very welcome. And if you have not subscribed already, please do so. Subscribe to my channel and then support my channel. So if you find this video that I'm about to do helpful, that's after watching it, don't forget to hit on the like button to make me know you appreciate what I did with the video, and then hit on the notification bell also to get an update whenever I upload a new video. So that's just like the essence. So today actually I'm going to be showing you how to cut and sew this beautiful dolman and sleeve gown up here. So you can see the picture up there. The gown is really beautiful. When I saw it, someone actually sent it to me. It's really looking good. I really liked it. So, and then you could see it has a giant pocket. It's just like a trendy gown really, and then on the side it has something like an elastic and strap used to hold the shape of the gown together. So it's really classy. Yeah, so that's what I'm actually going to be showing you how to do. It's really easy and very simple to achieve. For even any beginner, you could pull this off in less than 1 hour. Yeah, so now let's get back to the cutting table. All right guys, so you could see I folded my fabrics into 4. I have 2 yards of fabric here. That's what I'm making use of. Since this gown does not have any zipper, so this is 1 yard here, and then this one is 1 yard also. So I have this, that's 2 yards, 1 yard, 1 yard. I folded the 1 yard into 2, and then folded this other 1 yard or 1 meter into 2. So now I have my fabric well laid out. The back and the front is laid together because it does not have any zipper. So I'm just trying to straighten it all out. So before we are going to start. And for this, when making a dress like this, all you have to do is measure half of your back measurement. That's from this point to where you actually want the sleeve to be. So you measure. So for this, I'm going to be making use of this my entire 1 yard meter. That's what I'm going to be making use of. So but before then, the neckline, the first thing I'm going to measure, I'm just going to insert some basic measurements into this so I'm just going to use this up top part. I'm going to make use of it as my shoulder line. So this is going to be like my shoulder line. Then from this point, I'm using 10 inches as my bust line. So this is 10 inches that is serving as my bust line. I hope the chalk is clear enough. And then from my shoulder to my waist is 19 inches. And then from 19 to, I'm counting 9 inches where I'm going to be inserting my hip. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this is where I'm going to be inserting my hip measurement. So my hip is going to be here. This is my waistline. So this is my hip line, and then my full length. I'm making use of the entire, because the full length of the gown is actually 42 inches. So I'm just going to leave the down part. I'm not going to cut it off. Whatever I have left, I'm going to make use of it as my allowance. But on the normal day, you're supposed to use like 2 inches allowance for it. But I just don't want to cut it off, so I'm just going to make use of it. So that is that. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to measure the necklines, and you could see that the neck of that dress is quite high. So, and it's going to be having like a slit in front. So what I'm going to do for a neckline like this, I'm going to be making use of 3.5 inches for this neckline. That's the width of the neckline. I'm making use of 3.5 inches. So this is like my 3.5 inches. Let me come close to the camera. So this is like my 3.5 inches here. And then the depth I'm going to be doing. So most times I always like measuring. I don't know why. So I'm just going to be making use of 5 inches. Is quite deep. It's quite deep. But you could make use of 4 inches, but I will make use of 5 inches because of this dress. I don't want it to be too high like what I have up there. So I'll make use of 5 inches. That's for the front neckline. So this is my 5 inches. I'm just going to use my pattern curve like this. I'm going to carve out the neckline. This is for the front neckline. So for the back neckline is high also, so I'm going to be making use of 2 inches depth. So I'll just measure back my 3.5 on this point like this, and then the depth I'm going to be using, I'll make use of 2.5. 2.5 is okay. So I'm just going to curve it out also like this. So this is for the back neckline. So from the neckline point now, I'm going to take my shoulder slope. Like I told you, I said I'm making use of the entire width as the arm measurement. So I'm making use of everything that I have here. At the end of the day, I'm going to be cutting extra and be adding on top. I'll show you as I go along. So from this point, so I'll measure my actual shoulder measurement, which is 14. This is 14 for my actual shoulder measurement. So the sleeve length that I now have now is 10 inches. So you could see, so that's this 10 inches will serve as my sleeve measurement. So you could decide to make it 12, 15, depends on how much length you want your sleeve to be. So this is my shoulder measurement, my actual shoulder measurement, which is 14, and then I'm using 10 inches as my sleeve length. So from this point now, I'm going to be slanting it from this neckline. I would drop it down by 1 inch on this side like this. So that will serve as my shoulder slope. I'll slope out the shoulder first before I cut out. So I'm just going to slope it out like that. I'm going to cut it out. So I'll just cut out the front neckline. So you'll be seeing what I'm doing. So that's just what I'm cutting it out, the back. And then I'll cut out the slope, the shoulder slope. So I've cut them out. So the next thing I'm going to measure, I'm going to measure my armhole. So from this point, I'm just going to take it like this. I'll measure my armhole. So for the armhole, I'm going to be making use of 9 inches. I don't want it to be too wide. So this is my 9 inches for my armhole. So from this armhole point now, I'm just going to measure out my bust measurement. And the bust length that I'm making use of for this dress, since it's not a fitted dress, I'm making use of 45 inches. Yeah. So when you divide 45 into 4, so I have 11.5. So I'm just going to take my tape like this, and then this is my 11.5 meters. I'm just going to add 2 inches allowance extra to it, which is okay. So from this point now, this is the point. So from this point, let me bring it down so that I will not confuse myself. So I'm just going to make a curve like this to this point. That's from here to here, like this. You understand? So this is my point. So this is the part that is a little bit small on this dress. So the other part is going to be free. So I'm going to the waistline and the hip line is going to be the same. So it's just like the bust line. That's the side that you have just a little holding, because I'm going to be putting that elastic on it. So just like you could see on the picture. So the next thing I'm using 54 inches. That's what I'm going to be using for my hip line, and then for the waistline, 54 inches. So you divide it into 4 again like this. So I have 13.5. I'm just going to take the 13.5 here. This is my 13.5, and then I'm going to add 2.5 meters allowance to it. And then I'll come here on the hip line too and do the same thing, 13.5. And then I'm going to add, for the hip line part, I'm going to add 3 inches allowance to it. So that's just like basically the difference. So the next thing I'm going to do now, I'm just going to connect it like this. I hope you can see. You see what my hand is doing. You could see how I'm coming like this, from this point like this, how I'm coming. So from this point now, I'm coming to this point now, just like this. So you could see what I'm doing. You could see that it's not straight. So you could see how it is coming down. It's just coming down straight like this. So the next thing, I'm going to be taking it like that all the way to the down to the hemline point. So I could make use of a ruler just to connect it to make it straight. So I'm just going to make use of a ruler So I'm just going to put my ruler here. So that is why it's always good to make use of a ruler. So now that I brought my ruler now, so I could see the error that my free hand was doing there. So I'm just gonna rule it out like this, so I will get that perfect shape. So these points, I'm going to straighten it out properly with my ruler. I want it to be straight. You could see how I'm just going to cut it out now. So I'm leaving this point, so I'm just going to be cutting from here like this. So you could decide if you want and actually want the down part to be smaller, you could decide to reduce it. So it's just your choice. So for me, I don't want it to be smaller, so that's why I'm just using it for the entire gown. So that's just basically how we cut it. So the next thing I'm going to do now, I'm just going to trim out on this part properly, and then I'm going to be extending the arm. I'm going to be extending it with like a turn up. So I'll just get my remaining fabric and then cut it out. I'll just use this point to measure it, to cut it out, or I'll go and stitch it together first before I do that. So I'm just going to be adding like an extension to it. So I'll just show you. So I'll just cut out on straps like this. I'll just cut out from this point. So I'm just gonna measure. So I'll be making use of between like 2 to 3 inches. So I'll cut it out first. So this is what I'm going to be using to extend the arm. So I could decide to make use of a different fabric. I think I should make use of a different fabric. I'm sure it will be fine. I think I should make use of a different fabric instead of making use of wasted my fabric. I think I should make use of a different fabric. I think it will be much more better. So I'm just going to take and check if I have something that is matching, a cloth that will like contrast it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll use it for the sleeve. So this is just what I'm going to do. This is just basically how you extend it, so you could see what I have. You see, you just follow the same line like this, and then so the next thing I'll do, I'll cut out my facing. I'll cut out the interfacing and then join the shoulder line. So I'll just open it up for you to see. So this is the back. So I'll join the back. So for the front keyhole, I'm just going to add it now. I almost forgot about that. That's for the slit on the front of the neckline. I'm just going to add it to the front now. In adding it, it's just simple. It's not like it's a big deal. So it depends on how much length you want on it. That's what you are just going to use. So I'm just going to measure now. I'll check it on myself because I don't want So what I have now is like 8 inches. So remember what I did initially, I used 5 inches for the neckline. So I'm just going to add like 3 inches slit to it. So this is my 3 inches here. I'm just putting a slit. I'm not cutting it out. I don't want it to be too wide. I'm just going to put it like this. So at the end of the day, here is my slit on the neckline. So that's that. So now the next thing is just for me to take it to my machine and just couple it. It's really easy. This dress is really easy to make. Join the shoulder line, and then join the side down, and then come back and cut out the. Before then, I'll look for a fabric that I'm going to use to do that pocket on it. So guys, I found the fabric. So, and this is what I'm going to be using to do that giant pocket on it. So I'm going to be using this. So I'm going to tell you the measurement. So this totally depends on you, what you actually want. For mine, what I actually have here is 19 inches. So at the end of the day, when I'm done sewing, the length is going to reduce to 17 inches. Why? Because I'm going to be folding 1 inch up here that I'll use to stitch it, and then on another 1 inch here that I'm going to use to stitch it. It's so simple. Before you couple, the first thing you do, you fix this pocket before you start coupling, so it makes it easier. Don't couple the back and the front, so you could be able to lie it flat on your machine and then you stitch. And then the width that I have here is 12 inches. At the end of the day, it's going to reduce to 10 inches. Why? Because I'm going to be folding in this point. I'll iron it down so that I'll be able to run a stitch along like this, and then I'll fold in this point also, so that I'll be able to run a clean stitch on it like this. So I'm just going to run a stitch like this, and then this point is going to be the opening, and then we're going to be putting our elastic on this other side. So I'll show you how to do the elastic. We're going to be putting the elastic after sewing, coupling everything together. So I'm going to go and couple mine now, so you go and couple yours also. So now let's just go. I'll come back and show you, and then we'll fix the elastic. Okay, welcome back, guys. So you could see, so I finished stitching it. So this was what I was saying. So I finished stitching the top part of the pocket. So the next thing I'm going to do now, I'm just going to place it here. You could decide to run it on the same line. You could decide to put it on the hem line. So that is when you're stitching the hem together. When you're the side hem. When you're stitching the side hem, you just close up on the pocket together. Or you could decide to do it this way, not to get to the side hem, for it to be here. So you could decide to do it in whatever way you choose to. So that's just that. So mine, I think I'm just going to put it on this side. I don't want it to get to the hem and to the side hem. So you could decide to put it there, or you could decide to do it this way. Or you could decide to bring it closer down to the hem line, or you could decide to take it up. So it just depends on what you actually want. So mine, I'm just going to measure out how much width I want. So I'm just going to use my eye. I'm just going to check it like this, and then I'll measure it and then check how many inches it actually is. So I'm just going to make use of 4 inches from my side hem line. So I'll make use of 4 inches. So I'm just going to pin it down. I'll just secure it down with my pins, and then I'll take it to my machine. I'll stitch from this point, from this top point. I'm just going to stitch like this, a clean top stitch like this, and then like this. So basically that's how I'm going to secure the pocket. So after that, I'll close the side seam together. I'm just going to take out my measurement. I'll take out the full body measurement. So I'm just going to explain it to you before I go back to my table. So for the sleeve, I'm just going to measure the 9 inch that I used as my sleeve opening, and then I'm just going to run it straight to the hem of my dress, and then I'll do the same thing to the other side. So that's just basically. So when I'm done, after stitching the side to the hem, I'll iron it and then bring it and then show you how to attach on the elastic that was attached to it. Okay, guys, welcome back. So you could see our dress is almost done. So I finished stitching the edges of my dress. So I finished I've done that. So the next thing, so this is the pocket, the giant pocket. Giant pocket, yeah. So the next thing now, I'm going to turn it inside out, so we'll be able to measure the parts that I'm going to attach the elastic. So I'm just going to turn it. Okay, guys, so I finished turning it. So this is the side that has the big pocket. So this is the side. So this is the side that I'm going to be attaching the elastic. So I'm just going to measure the underbust measurement, and the underbust measurement is 15 inches. So this is 15 inches. So I'm just going to come down a bit, just by 1 inch, which is 16 inches. And then the inch that I'm going to be starting from. So this is like my 16 inches now. So the next thing I'm going to do now, I'm just going to measure how close I want it to be. So from this hem line, I'm just going to measure. So if I'm going to be doing 10 inches, that's 10 inches from this point. So it's going to be like this. So when I'm done, so you could see it's going to come like this. So I'm going to be reducing it like this. So I'm going to do 10 inches. That's the stretch of my elastic. So this is 10 inches on this part. So I'll turn it to the other side also and then measure out 10 inches. So from this point, I'm just going to come like this. I'll measure the 16 also. This is the 16. And then from the 16, I'll measure 10 inches. So this is my 10 inches. So I could decide to do 9. So it depends on what you want. So this is what I'm going to do. So the next thing, I'm going to cut 5 inches on strap of elastic. So I'm just going to measure like this. No, I'm not going to. I'm going to increase it a bit. 5 inches will be too stretchy. So I'm just going to make it like 7 inches, I think. 7 inches. So when after stretching, so it stretches until 10 inches or 6 inches. I'm just going to check it and see. I think 6 inches will be okay. So I'm just going to cut out 6 inches of elastic. So when you double it, it's going to give you 12 inches because you know this side is 10, the other side is 10. So it's going to be running from this point to this point. It's going to be running from this point. So I'm just going to measure it and then mark it out properly. This is the line. So this is the 10 inches line. So it's going to be running, the elastic is going to be running from this point to this point. So I'll show you. I'm going to pin it for you to see. So I'm measuring 12 inches, which is 6. So that is just it. So this is my 12 inches elastic. So I'm just going to cut it now. And then I'll show you. This is how you're going to connect it. So you just open the dress like this. Open it to the middle. So this is where we're working with, from this point to this point. So I'm going to be using a straight line. I'm going to be marking out the lines properly, so I will know exactly where I'm going to be stitching on. So this is 16 inches. So I'll measure, I'll use my ruler to make a very straight line. So I'll turn to the other side also. So this is the other line also. They are on the same line. So this is the other line. I'm just going to measure to be very sure. So this is my 16 inches here also. So I'll measure, I'm taking it straight to this point also. That's to the 10 inches line. I'm making a straight line here like this. So now I'll now be able to fold it out like this. So I know that this is where I'm going to be stitching. So my elastic, I'm going to start stitching from this point. So you can see the 2 points now is open. So these are the 2 points from this point to this point on this straight line. So you could see the line. So I'm just going to straighten the lines together. So it'll be on a straight. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to take my elastic, I'll put it like this, I'll take it to my machine, I'll place it like this, I'll top stitch it here, and then I'll pull it down to this point. I'll pull from this point down to this point. I think I should reduce this elastic. It's having too much excess, so let's reduce it to 10 inches. So we're making use of 10 inches now. Let's make use, instead of the 12 inches, so let's make use of 10 inches. So 10 inches will be okay. So I'm just going to cut out the excess like this. So I'm just going to take it now, and then I'm going to stitch it straight on this straight line like this. as I stitch along. I'm just going to pull it like this and then stitch it straight. So after stitching, I'm going to make straps. So after stitching, I'll come back and show you the straps and how to attach it. Okay guys, so welcome back. So I've cut out on the straps. I just measured I just cut out a long straight strap. I'm going to be sewing on my machine, so of about 1.5 inches. So I'm going to sew and turn and then make out a slim strap out of it. That is what I'm going to. I'll put one on this side and secure the other one on the other side. So I'll come back and show you. So you just cut it out. This is 1.5 inches. So you could decide to do 2 inches. So it depends on how fat or wide you actually want your straps to be. So I'm just going to sew the elastic and then come back and show. Alright guys, welcome back. So I'm just so happy with the outcome of this dress right now. I'm just so happy. So you can see how beautiful it is. There was something I just discovered now, and I think I'm going to try it. So I just want to see who is going to be the first to try it. You can see the way this side is. Just imagine that they do the same thing to this side of this dress. You know that, see how, just take a look at it. See how beautiful it will look like. You just hold this side again with your elastic, your 10 inches elastic like this also. So it depends on your size. This 10 inches elastic actually depends on your size. So you could reduce the size. You could use 8 inches. You could use 7 inches. So it depends on the person's size. So just imagine that I'm holding this side like this also with this elastic, and then putting such straps like this on this side. See how beautiful this dress will look like. I'm just so happy. Seriously, I'm just so happy. So so just let's go. So guys, so you could see I've now come to the end of this video. So I'm just going to, so I just attach on these straps. So these straps, they're just like basically like a fancy straps. So you just attach them like this on it, and then just to knot it. And then when they knot it, it will now look like the strap came, the straps actually came from the inside of the dress. But guys, these are some of the tricks when it comes to sewing. So I have now come to the end of this class. So guys, if you find this video helpful, please drop a comment for me, so let me know you enjoyed this lecture. So I'm going to see you in our next class. So I'm just going to put it up on my document.